What's happening, guys? So, check it out. I'm sitting for a video. I never sit for videos. Strangest thing about powerlifting meets, they make you kind of tired. Anyway, I wanted to go over a video talking about my experiences with the meet on Saturday, kind of how things went, how they played out, how I was feeling, and kind of some of the different things that went around. So the very first thing I really need to say about this meet was just how extremely nervous I was for this, and it really kind of took me by surprise just how crazy nervous I really was. Now, this was in Orlando. I live over kind of by St. Petersburg, so it's about a 2-hour drive to get to the meet. And I picked up my buddy Steve, and he went along with me, and he was just kind of like, dude, are you okay? You're really quiet. What's going on? And I was just like, man, I'm nervous. I'm sitting here. I got all the lifts going through my mind. I'm like replaying, or not replaying, but I'm, thinking about how each lift could possibly go, and it was just, I was really nervous. Once I actually got there, the nerves calmed down a little bit when I was starting to meet some people, talk to some people. I saw my coach Jacob was there, and he was actually sitting by Ryan Dorst. They work for the same company, and it was really kind of bizarre because I was looking forward to meeting Ryan. I just think he's a really cool person, at least what I've seen through YouTube videos and stuff on the internet. I was kind of really looking forward to meeting him. Really strong guy. And I walk up to Jacob and Ryan, and I'm going to introduce myself to him, and he goes, "Oh, hey, Colin," and I'm just like, what? So I kind of like shook that off. It was like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you. I'm really looking forward to seeing you lift." And he's like, "Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing you lift." And I'm like, what? And he could tell I was like totally baffled, like, what the heck is going on here? And he goes, "Oh, well, we all work together. All the coaches kind of work together, and we run things by each other. So, I kind of been talking to Jacob, so I kind of know some things about you and everything." And I was like, oh, yeah, that's kind of cool. So, really super nice guy. It was awesome meeting him. Now, after that, I get into my warm-ups and stuff, and this is when the nerves really kick in. I'm just getting like crazy nervous, like more nervous than I've ever been in my entire life for anything. I've done a lot of competitive sports in my time. I've played competitive baseball for 25 years, a lot of different sports, played in a lot of big games. I never in my entire life got as nervous as I did warming up for this meet, and it was just insane to me. And really the only reason I can think of why this would possibly be is it just kind of shows how much powerlifting has become so important to my life, and how it really is just something that I'm super passionate about, and something that I want to really get a lot better at and really make a huge part of my life. Now, usually with any sport, and even with my first powerlifting meet, I'll usually be nervous. And then like when the first pitch goes, or after I did my first squat of the first meet, the nerves just completely go away. And it's like, okay, we're in this, let's do it now. And I kind of expected that to happen this time. And I got up to do my first squat, and I was so nervous for it. I was like literally shaky. My legs were just shaky. I do the lift, I go through it, no problem. I go to stand back up. I can feel my legs just kind of like shaking, like they're not sitting stable. And they say, rack it, I rack it. I'm sitting there like, am I gonna get red lighted because I wasn't staying still? Or, what happened here? So I get 3 white lights, and I head back, and I'm just like, wow, I have got to pull it together here. What is going on? So even by the second lift, I was still pretty nervous. And I was baffled by this. I really thought it would be kind of gone by now, but still nervous. So go through it, I kind of get myself a little bit more psyched up, I get myself a little bit more in the groove, like, okay, let's do this, it's time to go, the weight's gonna get heavier, you can't be shaking around, you gotta do this. So it went a little bit better, and after the second one, then the nerves finally started to go away, and I was ready to go. Got to my third attempt, and I was just getting myself fired up, trying to get super psyched up to hit 490, a weight that I've never done before. It was the weight that we were predicting on doing. If I felt really good, I would have gone a little bit heavier, but I didn't want to chance it. I just wanted to stick with something that I was fairly confident that I could hit, make sure I don't fatigue myself. Even if I do hit an extra 5 pounds, what good does that do me if it makes me super fatigued for the rest of the lift? So went for 490, as you saw, I hit it no problems, all 3 white lights. And what was kind of funny in hindsight, when I hit the lift, I'm looking to see the lights, and I'm like, okay, did I hit it? Did I hit depth? Was everything okay? And I'm sitting there, and the lights aren't coming on. They're blank. And I'm just like, what the heck's going on? Did I hit it? And you see the judge like click and click, 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 and it's obviously not going through. And then in the back, all of a sudden I hear one of the guys go,
4 reds and a 1, 4 reds and a 1.
4 red plates. Well, I hear 4 red, and I'm like, crap, I got reds. It didn't go through. And I'm like, well, wait a second. How can you get 4 red lights? So I didn't realize it said 4 red plates, so it's obviously the next lift. The white lights finally come on, and it was probably only a couple seconds real time, but in my mind it was like a minute and a half. And I'm like, Oh, so that's why I was so pumped after I finally got it, because I was like, man, what was going on? After that, we went to bench. Bench went pretty well. I was pleased with how easy that went. We started with 280, which I was super confident with. I didn't really have any issues trying to go into that. That's something I can triple with pretty relative ease. But when I actually sat down to do the lift, I sit down and sit back, and they go, hold on. I'm like, what? And they go, take your thumb loops off. I'm like, what? Yeah, take your thumb loops off. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I take the thumb loops off, and then I go to do the lift. Apparently you can't use your thumb loops. I could have sworn I read that you could do it with or without, and it didn't matter. But apparently thumb loops are super anabolic and they make you lift more weights. I don't know, but you can't use thumb loops. So that was a lesson learned. Hit the first attempt, no problem. Hit the second attempt, no problem again. Went to talk to my coach, and he was like, you know, let's go 314. If you're feeling comfortable with it, let's do it, because that went up super fast. I think you probably have it. And I'm glad he did, because I did get it. It was actually pretty funny. In the last video that I did showing the lifts, Hussein from Barbell and Kilos, he has got a great channel, by the way. If you have not checked out his channel, I will post a link below. Make sure you go check him out. Give him a subscription. You will not be disappointed. Really like this guy. We have kind of the same thought process along with training, so you'll really appreciate it. But anyway, he was saying third lift didn't count. Clearly the judge was using the force, and if you look at the video going back, he's doing this thing like, oh, use the force. Like, it totally looks like he was just lifting the bar up with the force. So I thought that was pretty funny. That was a pretty funny comment. But really, it looked super easy. The third lift looks like it came up fine, but in my mind, it was really tough. It was like a grinder, because when I got into position and pressed, and thankfully they were having really fast press commands at this meet for bench, so I didn't have a long press, but I went to press, and as I pressed, the weight starts going back towards my face a little bit, which is a problem I have sometimes with heavier weights. So it's coming back, so I've got to correct it, and makes it a little bit more of a grinder. It makes it more difficult. So it made it feel really difficult, even though in the video it went up pretty fast. A lot of people thought, wow, you had a lot more weight in there. Honestly, if I had done that with more weight, I don't know that I would have gotten it. Maybe an extra 5 pounds tops, but not that much. So then I went on to deadlifts, and as I was warming up, I started to notice that I was feeling really tired. I was really getting fatigued for some reason. I was going through my warm-ups, everything felt heavy. I felt really tired, like I was just drained. And I told my coach, I'm like, man, this isn't good. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I'm just drained. I'm completely fatigued. And he goes, well, what was the last time you ate? And I said, I think I had a power bar between squats and bench. He goes, well, why don't we go get you something? What do you have? And I was like, well, I got another power bar. I got Pop-Tarts. What should I do? And he goes, well, have a half a Pop-Tart, and we'll see how you feel from there. So I did that. I also downed some C4 and went back to my warm-ups again. And thankfully, by the time my lift started to come up again, I started to feel a little bit better. But I still didn't feel 100%. So I had to do the first lift, and one of the things that I've been doing to fix my lockout issue is take a wider stance and help myself get into a little bit better position. Well, I go to sit up in this bar, and I swear the bar is narrower than usual. I could not spread my legs as far apart as I wanted to. It wasn't possible. There wasn't enough room, and it kind of threw me off a little bit. And I'm sitting there like, all right, well, we're gonna have to do it like we used to do it, because I can't go as wide as I want. So I sit up, I do the lift. It feels really herky-jerky. It didn't feel great. I'm sitting there going, oh crap, did it get caught? Did I go down? Is it even not gonna count? Well, I went up and everything was fine. I got 3 white lights, and I went back and I had to kind of clear my mind a little bit, put in the second attempt, and I'm like, okay, go through the things that Lane's always telling you to try to fix this lockout issue. Spread the floor, stay in position, take the lift slow. So I go talk to my buddy Steve, who is sitting back there also taking some recordings in case Teresa's footage doesn't work, and just kind of helping me out and keeping me motivated. And I said, hey Steve, I need you to do me a big favor for this next lift. When I get up there, yell at me, say, spread the floor. I need you to go, spread the floor. So he does that. And I get up there, and that's the only thing I'm thinking of. Spread the floor, spread the floor, spread the floor. So I get in position, and I'm just thinking, spread the floor. I pull the weight up, and it's just clean. It feels like the cleanest deadlift I've ever done in my entire life. It felt so smooth, and I'm like, okay, yes, I'm back, I feel better. So I get the second deadlift, time to go on to my last one, and I know I really only need about 500 pounds to get my 1300 total. I select the 501. I do the same thing. Steve told me to spread the floor. I get up there, spread the floor. It's just smooth as butter, just smooth as silk. It felt so good. It went up no problem. There was no herky-jerkiness. In the past, every time I've ever done a deadlift that's super heavy, even if I've gotten it or not gotten it, it's gotten to my knees and I've gotten stuck, and then I've had to finish it off from there. So the fact that that was not there is a really good sign. It was smooth, it felt better. I think I'm getting this technique thing down, and I think there's going to be a lot of weight to be added to my deadlift as I move forward with my new training blocks here. I really have a good feeling that my deadlift is going to start coming along, and it's been stuck for forever, so I'm very thankful for that, but we'll just have to see how it goes. So after that, obviously I was pumped. I went 9 for 9. I hit my 1,300 pound goal. The meet went really well. A lot of people left a lot of comments saying, man, you left a lot of pounds on the floor. Some people asked me, like, are you kind of bummed that you didn't do more weight and all this and that? And I'm just, no, I'm absolutely 100% happy with how this meet went. You know, I probably left some weight on the floor with a deadlift, but again, with my lockout issues, I wasn't sure what to expect, so that was the one I had to be the most cautious with. My squat and bench attempts I thought were the absolute perfect weight. I mean, they were difficult, but not to the point where they're super grindy, so I got plenty of weight, but I didn't tax myself moving forward, and that's kind of the goal. Sure, you can maybe get another 5 pounds by making it a super grinder, but is it really worth getting 5 pounds on your squat and then taxing your system and then getting less weight down the road because you got an extra 5 pounds? No. Not to me anyway. I'm not there just to set single PRs. I'm there to get as much of a total as I can. And that was also something I had to think about with my deadlifts, because I could have gone for 506 and hit a PR, but what good does a PR do if you miss it? So after that, I didn't really stick around for the awards ceremony. There was still a whole flight behind me, and it was already super late. It was like 8:30. My kid usually goes to bed at 8. We have a 2-hour drive home to get back, and we want to stop and get some dinner. My friends were there, Fred and Jen, and Steve, and my wife, Teresa, and my son, Cy. So we all went out, went to Fuddruckers. But actually, I almost forgot. As we're walking out, I'm walking back to get changed, and all of a sudden my Steve's like, bah! He's just like yelling, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? Well, Coach John Gruden was there. Apparently his kid was lifting in the other weight class, and I didn't really even notice it, so he was out there. So we got to meet Coach Gruden. That was pretty cool. I took a couple pictures, and that was kind of a nice little thing, and Steve was really excited. He was a fan. He's from around Tampa Bay. He's lived here his whole life, so obviously he coached here and went to a Super Bowl and everything, so he was really excited about that. I thought it was pretty cool too. So that's how the meet went. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.